here for D2.
It's going to be a tone setter. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fiery, I hope. And it sounds like we are about to get into the action, ladies and gentlemen, because we have talked long enough. Hopefully, in just a couple of minutes, we'll be into the action. We're talking about like just doing these qualifiers, you know, just covering these qualifiers because we're in North America. We know our scene much more intimately. There's also not nearly as much going on in the tier 2 scene. Coming just even briefly for these qualifiers to South America, it's a breath of fresh air. You get to see who's on the come up, who's coming out of the primordial soup that is South America and making names for themselves on the cusp of going into those LAN and tier 1 events. And again, we are into the action, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 1, Dust2, the pick of BESTIA. They're on the T side. ODDIK defending. There is utility for Woody to start things off, and aggression in middle. We're talking about it. It's easier to do now that you can self-boost on Cat. Case Lonks is there, or at least was there, early on in the round.
Well, and you can just see, like you said, like, I mean, the fact of the Cat boost, like, you have that player that was already playing aggressive, but my God, that's a great shot from Woody already. Taking down Nas, so this is already a nice little bit of a start. Looking for more, yeah, why not? ODDIK are just trying to make themselves a statement here with these pistols, making all the right connections. BESTIA now have already lost 2 players so early on, with just over a minute left to spare. Utility is still on 2 different players, a smoke and a flash remaining, but again, for Pineapple, this is tough because now they're kind of stuck in mid. They look a little bit stuck in the mud too.
They're stuck. They're down by 2. They have to fight at long range with Glocks. They have 1 hero P250 on Noxy, but has to get into position to actually be of use. And again, that Glock, it just doesn't one-shot headshot. It does so much damage, but can't guarantee the kill. Mathios given an opportunity towards long, takes down Tomazin. Zoc, though, does get 1 trade-off Catwalk. The issue is the cavalry's arrived. The numbers are overwhelming. Nighthe finds 1, Nighthe finds 2. Noxy got 1 kill as a bit of a bruise onto ODDIK, but he can't upend the round. ODDIK, solid start on their CT side, and now investing in rather quickly 3 MP9s, 2 M4s, a nice balanced investment. Actually, 2 MP9s now, 1 being upgraded to a FAMAS. It is even more so balanced. You got to be careful of the range on this map. It's very long sight lines. The MP9s and the pistols really do struggle when you get out to those further distances.
Yeah, exactly. But I do love that we see someone like Noxy just playing really aggressive, like just through in dark, like to be able to find something with the scout. And this is really important because it's such a important position because you can kind of jump over the box. You can spot any players that are getting a little bit too overzealous in mid. Woody, though, does have that position with the MP9, does get caught a little bit here, and oh, it is going to be a struggle, but okay, now the CTs are just going to be able to get themselves cool, calm, and collected, clean it up nicely despite a bit of a labored spray, but okay, a nice 2-0, and now BESTIA, they're going to lock and load the AKs.
Yes, they are. Dispelling with the half-buy. Noxy's going to be compromised, though, because he bought that scout. He's going to be on a Mac 10 instead, probably go towards Tons. I say that, he actually drops his Mac 10 over the Tomazin. Noxy's the one with the rifle. That's quite the call. Tomazin has some rather stellar performances on this map. Noxy, if I recall correctly, he's the Opera and IGL, so giving him the rifle, prioritizing his weaponry, is definitely a little bit interesting, probably due to his spawn. Nighthe finds 1 Lucha of a trade. It's a duel out long with a lot of utility thrown into the mix. It ends at even footing, 4 versus 4. And only that Mac 10 falling for the BESTIA side.
Yeah, and that's honestly, if you're going to lose a player, like that's probably the best player to lose just in terms of the Mac 10. Because, I mean, really, you're kind of relying on them to kind of be the first point of entry, try to see what they can do, you know, get a little bit aggro. I mean, they got this long control, which is really important. They're going to throw the connector smoke, which is important as well. Woody here locked with the op close by, but again, for BESTIA, they're kind of losing their options. And now you can kind of see they're just going to fully commit to this. They're going to try to take this silently. They're going to try to see what they can do. These nades are just tenderizing these guys right now. But are the CTs going to be expecting this? You can see just on the other side of the smoke, they're right here. Flashes just flying through the sky, but the M4s are just singing a lullaby here. Not to able to find himself that 3 togs to get things done. And yeah, ODDIK are going to get themselves a 3-0 start in pretty convincing fashion.
Pretty convincing, pretty quick. Didn't even mention it because it didn't play a factor. Woody got the op out in round number 3. That's a pretty big weapon to get online early. And with a convincing win like that, the CT side can really begin to find their groove, to get their economy in line. Potentially even take off from there. They're preventing bomb plants as well, which further hamstrings this offensive. They're going to be on Tech 9s and a Deagle now. Could be worse, but could be a lot better as well. Tog's just running back over towards Cat. Again, not even needing to boost Elevator now. Such a big boon for this CT side. Now 3 players already waiting on A with AKs in hand. 4/5 of the T side is here. 1 is lurking in middle. That is Naz. I'll just posted, hoping to catch a rifle on sight, but it's AK at range is too good compared to the Tech 9s. Acelock's just biding his time, waiting for his teammates to come in rotation. The op of Woody might finally get tested as well. Is in middle. Naz doesn't really want to take the fight. He wants to hold for a press. ODDIK are a little too disciplined.
Yeah. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is kind of giving it quite a bit of respect. And even for Nate right now, like just, you know, being this aggressive on Cat, it can be pretty scary just because, again, they are Tech 9s and Deagle you're going against. But, okay, that's going to be a nice cleanup. Now's going to be able to find himself that little bit of a consolation prize. Really not much here. He does have the full armor, so this is not a bad thing. And he does have that smoke, so could try to see what he can find. But, no dice at all. And okay, it's once again a 4-0. Hog sitting himself at a 4-0. Nate sitting at an 8-1 right now, Pineapple. So, I mean, he's already kind of pushing it. And
double
it
up.
Looks like double damn up. Okay, things are cooking now for round number 5.
We didn't really highlight players to watch. Typically, that's kind of an ECL thing. This is an actual challenger event. But if there was a person to watch on ODDIK, it would be Nightday, the longest standing member. 1.32 impact, 80 ADR average. On the other side of the coin, you probably want to watch Lucha. His stats aren't the highest in terms of overall HLTV rating, but his impact is notoriously high, 1.26 there, and a just sub 80 ADR as well. 2 figureheads for these respective teams to rely upon. Woody up again. Low start. This time around, he's getting more aggressive, though, more assertive in towards middle, looking towards the lower tunnels. This is his opportunity, but he's well postured for a quick fall away. BESTIA really playing around this op, really trying to give it as few angles as possible for duels.
Oh, absolutely. Even for Nate, like he tried twice here for the pop open to the smoke in mid, so you got to give it to him, but just not able to find anything. But these ops are still a big threat right now in BESTIA. They have to find that utility to kind of stunt it. Oh my good god. Okay, Woody's still going to be able to find something against Luchov, and that was a good flash. It just wasn't enough. Now you can see Zoc. He's just on top of the long box here. He's trying everything he can. He's going to make the noise. So ODDIK have the full information on this. At least one player's lurking. And these guys just can't seem to buy any sort of a frag right now. I mean, now you have Zoc by himself with 40 seconds remaining. Has to go fight for a bomb. Not even going to be in the deck of cards here. This is just going to be a save, surely, because he's got no options.
He's got no options. His team seemingly has no options either. At this point, I'd say timeout's overdue. Probably should have used one going into this round with hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't gotten a bomb plant even.
No, and I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say, like, it's concerning because they seem like they're playing very passive, like being on the T side. Now they're down by 5-0. They're losing control of this half. I mean, we talk about one more round. I mean, ODDIK are going to have guaranteed 6, right? I mean, that's not going to be going well. The Zoc, maybe a little bit of extra frags. Okay, it's not bad. He's taking away some money, but it's just not going to matter. But surely, BESTIA, they're going to go for a timeout? Question mark?
Their money's all over the place. They could have half bought around the AK, but now Zoc has $600 and nothing.
Yeah.
Dies after time. There's the timeout.
There we go.
Overdue, and now they have to figure out what to do. Because their economy is... It's max loss bonus, but when your player dies after time, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Like, that kind of money, it's not a lot to work with, right? So, and like you said, the money is all over the place right now. Like, these guys could have forced up or like done Galil's armor with, you know, quite a bit of decent utility, but even right now, I don't know if that's going to be the case. I would like to see them, if they go for a bit of a pistol round, maybe, or like a half buy, you want to call it. I do want to see them put a little bit more decision making on this, like in the sense of making a quick decision, going for a quick fight, trying to do this. They seem like they're playing very defaulty, playing very slow, and it's clearly not the play right now. 2 pauses. Damn.
Really deep in thought.
I'm not even against this too, right? I mean, you can, you know, we could talk about this forever, but I mean, I think it's also like slow down that momentum maybe a little bit here. Like, ODDIK are playing really well right now. Everybody is firing all cylinders, right? Like, nobody's really missing a shot, theoretically. I haven't been able to find any big gaps.
Haven't been able to find anything, but they haven't gone towards B at all.
Yeah, it's like they forgot about it.
They forgot about it. There's a smoke you can throw. My friends have been showing me this. Some of my friends are nade aficionados. They'll just line up smokes from T-spawn that land door as you run out. It's perfect.
It makes
quick
a
lurk
huge
smokes
difference.
out. Throw those with Tech 9s. Because you've used the Tech 9s at long. Of course, those don't really work because of how long range it is. Out B, it's a very different beast that they'd have to contend with. But they're going to force. We got 2 AKs, 2 Galils, a Tech 9 with no armor for Zoc. Makes sense. I hear people typing in the chat. It looks like we might have a match medic. Yes, we're going to have a match medic at this point, guaranteed. Noxie's not here or otherwise AFK. Restart the round. Very quick match medic in the blink of an eye. It's crazy how fast those have gotten. They used to take eons.
I remember it. Dude, there was even a time where there was no such thing. It was just like, or if it was nowhere near the level it is right now. So yes, you got to love that it's like instant like this. It's a beautiful thing.
I remember even in CS2, it used to mess with the HUD. You'd have to restart, the HUD. Now you don't even need to do that. It's just, it's seamless. It's crazy how good it's gotten.
Look at how far we've come, It's great.
Might not have gotten far in terms of actual in-game changes, but we have gotten far in terms of back-end stuff. We are coming back to the face cams, though. It sounds like we have some tech issues that aren't quite resolved. But it sounds like my prediction is kind of coming true, Laz. It seems that BESTIA are trying to pick to something that they think is a strength and are really getting shut down by the likes of ODDIK.
Yeah, exactly. No, and it's, look, I'm going to admit defeat if I have to, but yeah, I think BESTIA are kind of, I don't know what they're doing with their game plan right now. It doesn't seem like it's working. It feels like it's just very, like I said, defaulty. I'm not really seeing anything convincing with a take. They've kind of abandoned the B site. Like they just maybe try this mid cat long control. It's nothing, right? So I think they need to reinvent the strategy book a little bit here because it's looking a little grim. It's looking pretty limited so far. So I am hoping this timeouts that happened and then this tech issue that's happening just gives them a little bit of time to kind of fill the tank here to figure out something.
I'm really hoping they can because, again, the pressure's on. It's 0-5. They're forcing up, or they were forcing up prior to the technical issue. Sounds like we're back into the action as well, ladies and gentlemen. So a brief one, all things considered. But they haven't gotten close. They've been shut down on the way to sites. They have not gotten into a site. It has been dominance from ODDIK. That double op is already having some impact as well. Woody, a very quiet primary opera, I've noticed. He doesn't have the craziest stats. It's only 2-2 right now, which means he's doing what's required, but he's not taking over. Good job. Prime opportunity, though, to shut him down. Woody, again, always in a prime location. Find a kill. I was going to say, is someone AFK in spawn? No, it was Noxie lining up the smoke towards doors. Like the play, gets Luchov into position, but ODDIK, I like this counterplay. They've been saving all of their nades. I think they even dropped a third one down towards middle for the ops. And as you can see, it has tremendous impact. Tag through the door onto one. And up catwalk, they will go. Case-Lox is already ready on the site. Is there a second player towards long as well? Yes, it's Togs holding very aggressively. The Op of Woody is here as well, and the utility now will be exchanged. Tech 9 at the helm looking for something. The Op of Woody misses, and Case-Lox misses with a swing. Woody finally finding one for his team, but BESTIA are well poised to get a bomb plant at this stage. Woody finding a second towards long, finally heating up. 1 round left in his op, though. Gonna have to make that shot count. He'll throw a Molotov in to try to stop that plant. It will not be successful in that endeavor, but it will force them out into his scope. Another secured for Woody. Tremendous time for him to come alive. 2 remaining on catwalk, both stuck in literal no man's land. Tomazin does manage to find one before falling. Noxie's playing around Gandalf, hoping for something, but again, comes up with nothing as the swing comes through. It's all on Tomazin. His first 2 kills in the game just secured, but the Molotov pushes him back and seals his fate. Diffuse comes through, but an expensive round, all things considered, for ODDIK. The best thing that BESTIA have shown us in this game thus far.
Yeah, it is. And also kind of going to the other point you made as well is like Woody, we were, you were making the comment like, look, he as a primary opper, he's not finding these connections, but damn, like he got 3, he got the triple kill. He was able to open things up. He was just able to use that utility, kind of stunting BESTIA once again. You could just see they were kind of committing to the site, and then all of a sudden they hit the brakes. They just stand there, no man's land, like you talked about. And that's the thing about, for ODDIK, that they're doing a good job. Like, they look really calm. It looks like, their system's in place. It's kind of like BESTIA that seem like, I feel like they're almost overthinking these situations because this passive and, a little bit more slowed approach, it's just not working against a team like this. And now they're finally going to step things up a little bit here to get themselves in this B site. They finally realized there is another bomb site you could try to commit to. They're going to be able to get into the site. They should get this plant down, but look at already, K-Slots is just getting heavy-handed with this, and everybody's just trying to bombard through the site, but they're finally getting punished, and now it's a man advantage finally for BESTIA.
At long last, Woody, I'd call him a positional opper. He's very comfortable on many locations in the map, very hedging his bets in that he always wants to get away. But entering B is the enemy of the opper. And in a man disadvantage situation, it's near impossible, especially with Ninth Day and Woody as they are, 57 and 39 HP respectively. They know they don't have to force the issue. They're still eons ahead, and they can save their rifles for the next one. K-Slox needs a drop. Matios might use one as well. I don't know how much his loss bonus is going to be. Well, it'll be the minimum, but probably won't be enough to get full utility with a rifle, so they'll drop one over. BESTIA, though, finally finding something, looking towards B. Wasn't the cleanest entry. They kind of just ran in with wanton abandon. They just ran in. They threw a smoke at door from the box when they could have lined one up from spawn, perhaps. But it works. Gets them on the board, and the first is the hardest.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, look, it ain't pretty, whatever, it doesn't matter. They get it done. They finally get rid of this, 0. They got themselves at least on the board, for goodness sakes. I mean, we're in round 8. Like we said, now ODDIK sitting in a position here where they have the half guaranteed. So even if they lose out, it's going to be that 6-6. But still, I mean, just considering the way and how close these rounds are really looking for ODDIK and how dominant they are, who knows? And now the flashes go. Togs is actually going to get caught here, so he does have to fall back. He was trying to get a little bit cheeky on this one. And the utility is getting a little bit more lackluster for BESTIA. You can see now the CTs are going to re-aggress on this cat control. Double player going to go for the push into mid. So now they're going to isolate some map control. They're going to see what they're going to be able to find. But you can see BESTIA, they're just waiting here. Sitting pretty. Trying to see if they can get a little bit more cheeky with this as well. And it's kind of like a full reset here, Pineapple.
Yep, starving them of information. They got a player in pit. That's Tomazin. Slowly eking out map control. Now they have to actually turn it into something. The issue is they don't know where ODDIK are playing. They know ODDIK get aggressive, but they don't know where they got aggressive this time around. Paranoid of lower tons, paranoid of catwalk, swing comes in, K-Slox good for almost 2. Traded out, that nade will find the trade in kind though. Togs finishes off that kill. And now posted up on catwalk is looking for the bomb. 3 remaining versus 2 for the T side. BESTIA finally getting advantages and trying to make the most of them. Swing on catwalk though, Togs knows he has to force the issue. Good kill to find. This long flank, this late flank from Tomazin might be the linchpin in this round. Togs and Matios need to isolate this duel middle. They do so, but at the cost of 1. And the last alive is around the smoke. He's heard. Togs hears the steps. That could be what kicks out the round in his team's favor. Spam doesn't quite connect. Tomazin's not going to take the duel. He's going to run back instead. Throw a Molotov to buy time. Actually just take the duel outright despite the low time. A close round, but a round won by Tomazin. He wanted that off. You saw him racing for it. If he didn't do that little 360, he might have actually gotten it.
Mm-hmm. Really good play from him, though. Like, I mean, that's a really tough position to be in, right? Because I think it was like 13 seconds. He still had time to spare, but again, you got to be, a bit mindful of that. But I love that he just tried to pretend that he was running away with the molly, post it up. It was a big, risky play in some sense, but handled very, very well. Double ops once again for the CT side. So they are going to commit to this. Not against it. A great flash going to be executed here from the T side, but won't land them a kill. And it was Nas trying to get himself, or Naz, I should say, to get himself something, but instead it's going to be death at the door. And once again, BESTIA down the man so quickly in the round, giving ODDIK such a big advantage. And I feel like that's such a key of success for these guys. Like, these opening engagements and the amount of times they've shut down this aggression is just, it's just unparalleled, man. It's just every single time.
We're like a minute 15 and the op is still sitting in dark. With 3 players top mid, they have no control. We have complete tunnels control now for the CT side. We had log control. That's been ceded by the T side off the early engagement. Matios finally makes contact, gets 1. Ninth Day and lower tunnels. A quick scope on the one. He's not even the primary offer. Out towards B though. Race that smoke just bounces through the doors. Ineffective. Calyx. Or K-Slox, excuse me. Hard to read the name. Gets the kill. Noxy, the last one alive with his op. He's at A. Bomb's on B, and with 30 seconds left, he's likely saving for round number 10. This is a smothering start from ODDIK, 7-2. Back in the day, this was the one T-sided map. Now, things have changed. Anubis has been added. Even Ancient at one point could have been considered slightly. But that boost feels like it has swung things back to more or less even, like a 6-6. Noxy and BESTIA are still a very long way from securing that even ball game.
Yeah, and again, what I'm loving right now from ODDIK is just the fact that, you know, I really do think the firepower just looks like it's just such a different level right now. You know, like some teams are a bit slow starting, things like that, but I really think these guys have done a good job coming out the gate. They're all looking very lethal, very scary. Like let's put this in context, is that we're in round 10 right now, and Togs is sitting at a 9-1. Like, he's only gotten killed one time in these 10 rounds. So it's kind of crazy to think about that. And also just the fact that everybody's sitting at positive numbers and looking pretty good. You know, it was a little bit of a question of Woody was going to be able to find something. But even the 2-3 rounds ago, he's able to find himself that big triple kill to single-handedly win them the round. But now finally we see the CT side once again finding this long control. It's not going to really matter too much because it's just the lurking players of BESTIA with 2. But the bomb is still making its way into this B tunnel. But are they actually going to commit to this? Because this is where I feel like their weak point is. It feels like this mid-round is not the best place for them.
No, it's not. They get lost. They try to slowly get control, but they should be getting control at the start of the round. Op in middle, supported by an M4. And now an op on B for Night. He's back plat. He's in the right spot. It's going to be a B play. Smoke goes down with just a minute left in the round. Chav is throwing the mid to B split utility.
This is Gordon.
Gordon and miss. The op of Night, though, also missing its opportunities.
Oh, no.
It's just missing them all.
Oh, no.
Burning alive. He falls. Noxy gets him. Tomasin drops Matthews. Woody does get one from window. We're back to even footing. 3 versus 3. The last smoke used. This one won't go far. It'll land perfectly in the door. Well done. Still have to actually get control of the site. And with Togs on the flank, it's going to be easier said than done. Togs won. Woody on the USP does so much damage. Tomazine from the back of box still holds it on. Not for long. Togs, that man flanking, gets the final kill. 11-1 for him. Who highlighted his stats. He's continuing to go nuclear.
Oh boy, yeah. I mean, that's a round. I mean, that was something I was not sure what to expect from. Like, I was thinking again that, you know, CT player and the B plat just missing those shots. Don't get me wrong. It honestly, I know some people probably think, oh, that's such an easy position, but it really isn't, because if you miss that shot with an op, there's so much time that the players can get, and that's what happened, right? I think it was what, 2 or 3 misses. So it just allows so much, you know, real estate to be gained. But either way, a really good play coming in from Togs, a good flank that was coming through on the CT side in that B tunnel. It was just very well executed that way, and really was a saving grace once again. Sitting in an 8-2, Woody does miss the op once again and gets punished. So Luchov finally gets himself that, you know, little bit of an entry, which he's good for on this team. Now we see BESTIA finally putting themselves in a man advantage early in the round. This is something we haven't been able to say for quite some time. They're not even going to mess around. They're finally going to make a decision. They want to go for a gunfight, and it's going to be Zoc to be able to find himself that double, leaving it just down to 1 CT player. And yeah, he's just going to tuck tail, and he's going to get out of here.
Taking control early. Pushing up so they can punish that op. Woody's gone for that peak 3 or 4 times. I don't think he's killed somebody there once. It's a very hard angle to hit, but he feels it's the safe one, and finally he's punished. Finally, BESTIA get comfortable enough to push aggressively towards Top Cat. Maybe it's because the double op isn't in play. Maybe because they finally realized that what they were doing wasn't working. Regardless, the idea behind it, it works out, and they should have been doing this earlier. The question is, can they at least use this newfound confidence to secure a 4th?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, honestly, that, you know, like you said, is the fact that Woody's gone for that play quite a few different times. But I love that BESTIA, they get that kill, they get the frag, and they pounce on the idea right away. They're like, you know what? Let's go. Put the foot on the gas. We need to go. Don't hesitate anymore. That was something I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for 12 rounds to see that. So we finally get there. But that is the question now. With the situation they're in, they still have an op on their side here for the T side. It's only going to be one op here for the CT side. This is an important round for Bestia fans because they need something to get a fourth to get themselves a transition back into the CT side. Nate is going to get himself aggressive here with the MP9. This is a lot of good control from the CT side. Once again, these guys are fighting for the map control, and they're getting it pretty easily and convincingly, and that's going to do as well. Woody might get killed here, yeah, but you know what? At least it's taking down a big player like Noxy.
It's not for naught. It's an uncharacteristic angle from Woody. He's kind of a one and done. Normally he plays spots where he can reposition readily. The issue was that there was nobody ready to support him. Everybody else was on catwalk or over to his tons. Base locks on an MP9 is actually going to do some very good chip damage at the very end there. And Molotov might spread. It does. He's forced into the smoke. Matios on the jump up. Could come in huge. Good shot
huge.
onto the first. Second secured. The third, not long for this world. Zaka no scope for a little bit of flare, but you can't rechamber quickly enough. Matios cements the round. 9-3 for ODDIK as we hit the halftime break.
So you say you got a new one. I know that you're trying to believe that you can fake a whole scenario just to make me jealous. Your shadow keeps stalking, and we should stop talking. But we got that special something. Say it like you mean it, I won't fake it and believe it when I see it. But for now, if you won't make a move right now. Oh, why do we go 360? You're hesitating, now it's busy. You know we always can go easy. Won't you let me know? Why do we go 360? You're hesitating, now it's busy. You know we always can go easy. You should let me know. Oh, I'ma be clear now. Patience is really not my key, but if you play your cards right, I might just think about it twice. Yeah. Say it like you mean it, I won't fake it and believe it when I see it. But for now, I just be breathing, doing nothing, I won't give in if you won't make a move right now. Oh, why do we go 360? You're hesitating, now it's busy. You know we always can go easy.
Bestia finally find their footing in the dying embers of their CT or their T side of Dust2. The question is, can they actually pull off a comeback? It's Pineapple, Phillips, and Laz to bring you the action, and Bestia on the defense and on the back foot. Double dually super soldier for Zoc, nade for Naz, flash for Luchov, and an early Gush middle on the case locks. Not sure how he survives against the USP, but we'll have to, maybe do some studying. Night They Out Long finds the inroads, though. Knocked C down. That's the IGL Opper of Bestia taken down without much of a fight. Luchov rotating in. This is still an uphill battle for ODDIK. These pistols struggle at range, and the USPs can definitely thrive down long. As we just saw with that kill from Luchov. ODDIK, they continue forward nonetheless. The flashes, though, are punishing. K-Slox gets one, Mathios two. Tomazin did get one in the chaos, but somehow ODDIK pull it through to a 3 versus 1. K-Slox heard pushing down middle. He has 5 HP in dualies. Luchov might not be expected here. He is to an extent, but not that assertive. Luchov, big first to find. Does he expect a close angle? The answer is no. He's shot in the side of the head. 10-3 for ODDIK. That felt like a must-win pistol for BESTIA.
Yeah, it really was. It really, really was. And that's the thing is that, you know, for ODDIK, I mean, they've now been able to find themselves both pistols, and that one was a bit more scrappy, you know, pretty close. But Mathios, once again, man, like he was able to close that last round out. Like he had that highlight reel with just, you know, igniting the M4, but instead it's going to be the Glock this time that he's able to get himself, you know, in contention with his teammates here in the double digits. And he's actually top fragging since those last 2 rounds. Naz now going to throw a decent nade, a little bit of a nice, little bit of a kneecap, I guess, with the nade, but not really too much. But BESTIA now, in the desperation of them losing the pistol, they have to force up double scouts with the Deagle and 5.7s, and honestly, this makes a lot of sense. They have to, and oh dear God, it's already looking like it might not even matter at all. Naz has to be able to find something here. This is an important position for him to stay alive as long as possible, but everybody's dropping and going to the grave. Now he's doing a little bit of a boogeyman situation, but it's not going to matter. And all of a sudden, Luchov might have to save this, but I think he's a dead man, and it's going to be 1 casualty here for ODDIK, and they have now gained 11.
They've gained 11. They shut down the 4 spy. Now BESTIA have to save and play for overtime, but given the disparity in scoreline, it just doesn't seem feasible. It really doesn't. And this is a big map once again. This is BESTIA's map pick. I was questioning it coming into it because they've lost it twice to ODDIK, 13-5 in the last month. And now they're about to lose it in an even more one-sided affair. 2 Galils, 3 AKs, excuse me. Naz doesn't even have a pistol. It appears. Hopefully that's a glitch. Nope, he goes back to pick up a USP. He's been bullied in this game. He is 1-13.
Yeah. And he's a player that's been, honestly, like, I feel like, you know, back in history a little bit since he's been on this team for 4 months. Like, he's looked not too bad, like I said. And it feels like this has really just been a kryptonite game against him. And he's trying everything he can here with a USP. And there's not really much to expect from these guys. They are just putting some light investment into this. Luchov does find something here. A little bit of a pistol. And okay, another Deagle kill, but it's not going to matter at all. And K-Slots just landing himself a double. Roasting some players alive. Noxy with 9 HP to spare. No utility, no kit, no armor, nothing. Nada. Guy sitting at 4 frags, and now kind of wondering, do I go for this? Do I sit back? Do I just hang out and chill? Yeah, he's going to try. But now they're going to be on the map point here about it.
So Woody will not pick up that AK that was on the ground, but I don't think it really matters in the grand scheme of things. 9 map points for ODDIK. They looked indomitable on this map. And everybody really has been doing the work required. Woody is the most quiet, but he, much like Noxy, is an opping IGL. He's still positive as well. Togs is sitting at 13-4. K-Slox in 9th, they have eclipsed him at 14. And Mathios is sitting atop the board at 16. That's crazy because Mathios is your support player. Yeah. 1.04 HLTV, second only to Woody on lowest. Still looking good. BESTIA trying to start the marathon off right, but Woody gets a double in return off of the openings. Noxy burns to 32, and it's a very quick adjustment from ODDIK and a right call at that towards B. Utility lined up and thrown. They're actually doubling back. No hesitation, though, from ODDIK. Very quick across the map.
Love this, though. I love this readjustment from ODDIK, though. It's important because they were looking like they wanted to go for B, but there was some good intel from Woody just, you know, kind of realizing, look, like, I think these guys are going to be holding the heels. They're going to be aware of this situation. There's lots of time on the clock. So why not? Let's try something a little bit here for ODDIK. They're up by so many rounds, by 9. Like, they have a lot of opportunity here to just play around with some things. Now they're going to re-aggress into long. They have to worry about Naz, I should say. but he is one of these players that has really struggled. This is a moment for him to shine. He has to be able to find this. He's not even able to find a kill at all. Oh no, this is becoming more of the problem. BESTIA now, a situation that should have been theirs, and now ODDIK have themselves a bit more of an opening. The 3-on-2 being gained. It's the anchor from the team. Look at Noxy walking into the grave, and Pineapple, I think this thing's all over, and indeed it is, and it's going to be a 13-3, and my, oh my, your prediction's already looking pretty damn good.
It's definitely looking good. I didn't think it'd be this much of a landslide, though. ODDIK, by far and away, the more comfortable team on this map. You saw they slowed things down in the mid-round there, but they weren't sitting. They weren't waiting. They weren't hoping to be given. They played Dust2 twice. They've played Ancient twice. Dust2 weren't contentious really at all, and even less so in this game, of course. Ancient have at least been contentious. They've been reasonably close. Not crazy games, but they've been 13-8, 13-9.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's something, I guess, for them to work with. Hopefully they could have shored those up. But again, I'm not confident given how difficult and how flat that Dust2 was. It feels like BESTIA have not put their best foot forward. It feels like they kind of just coasted into this after winning the qualifier, and now they're kind of gassed out.
Yeah, and I mean, for BESTIA, like them being on the CT side, it's again, like for me, it's not their strongest win percentage. Like for them, they're a team that sits on this map with like 41% that they win on it. And I mean, their T side is still that under 50%, like it's sitting around 49.3. So it's like, look, we'll see how well they can hold things off, because I think ODDIK did a really good job, like on Dust2. Obviously, different map, you know, let's state the obvious here, but I felt like their T side was really strong. I felt like their CT side was still really strong, and the way that these guys are hitting the shots is so important too, because you need to be able to connect the frags on the T side to get these opening duels, which I think for ODDIK's sake, like they were doing a really, really good job of that. And I feel like right now for BESTIA, like everything is on their backs right now. The backs are on the boards, and we're going to need to see a very different team as we get ready for this second map. Otherwise, they're going right into that lower bracket.
I've said it quite a few times on broadcasts over the years. We need to see a different team. We need to see them reinvigorated. We need to see something more inspired. I don't think I've ever meant it more than right now, because that team, BESTIA, in the last map, very flat, very uninspired, and again, lacking basic utility that I could potentially see in like a mythic diamond puck, you know, the team league run. There's a lot of glaring issues that I'm hoping will be fixed on a map that's been in the pool longer, like Ancient, but we'll have to wait and see. We are finally live. We had a brief technical blip, but we're into the action. ODDIK on the T side, good flash delayed in middle, blinds 3, but the shots just don't connect with a Glock, a very fickle weapon to use. Zoc 1, Night Day a trade, and an abandonment of middle. Again, ODDIK are very proactive on this T side. They're going to boost up. I thought Woody was a CT there for a second. That freaked me out. Bomb will go in this direction, but BESTIA have read this well. Naz on the board early. Encouraging to see. Noxy a second. They're rebuking this take well, BESTIA. They failed to get a pistol in map number 1. They start off map number 2 with a victory on the CT side.
Okay, well, it's about damn time. They're going to put themselves with the pistol, which they weren't able to do on the first map of Dust2. They lost both their pistols, so now they're, you know, sitting at that, 1 and 2 mark so far in the BO3. So a really important round, obviously, because now they got enough cash with they're going to actually commit 4 MP9s with 1 M4, and essentially everybody got a frag except for Tomazine. So this is a good note for them to getting a bit of a start. It looked really scary in the beginning there, just because, again, that firepower I was talking about, it felt like it's, nothing really there. And I was worried those USPs weren't making the connections, but as soon as they readjusted for that A hit, they did a really good job just isolating it, finding the duels they needed, and got themselves a good kickstart. But no bomb plan for ODDIK, which is a bit unfortunate, just in the sense that you can see the money situation sitting at that low 2000s. So I wouldn't really expect too much of an investment on this one, but I don't know if I'd be against them if they tried either.
Yeah, it's a hard spot to be. We're having some technical problems. Looks like a player's dropping in and out. Hopefully it won't be too long. ODDIK. They got 2 in that round. That was it. Again, as you mentioned, no bomb plant. I could see Tech 9s and armor working. There is a match medic. Near quick, near seamless. And Zach, I think, was the one that was disconnected. He now has an M4. The only rifle. Nope, there's a second one for Naz. 2 rifles for Bestia in round number 2. ODDIK, you said it can go either direction. It looks like the half buy is the call instead. Deagle for Nightday, who can really take over. Again, he's your individual star. P250 for Matios, who had a very good first map. And a flash for Woody, perhaps to facilitate a quick sight take.
Okay. Well, the timer's going to be removed, so finally we're going to get things underway. And with the double M4, it'll be interesting to see where they're going to put these rifles. And with these pistols being purchased, like the light buy, like you talked about, just keeping that money still a decent afloat, this is really important. They just kept the 2 pieces of utility, the 2 flashes. So probably just hoping for a little bit of a cheeky pop. Nothing yet, though. A 4-1 split. Woody just waiting in spawn, gonna flash through mid. Doesn't actually land at all. So these utilities, with work coming through, it's just actually not gonna land very well. It's just a massacre. Tomazine gonna be able to find himself that triple, locking things down, or the quad, my apologies, locking things down here in mid and just down to Matthews here by himself with a P250 in the dream. Maybe a quick kill. Not looking likely anymore, but Bestia having themselves a very nice little bit of a chance for this 2-0. It's just a matter of time. And now the M4 will finally make the connection. And not bad. A flawless round to add as well.
Flawless seconds good for that CT economy and confidence. That's what we want to see from Bestia. Gives them a fun bonus with 3 MP9s. Those weapons can never be discounted. Play them in strong spots like in towards Jaguar or Cave. Maybe in a main or right outside. In towards Donut. It's a lot of spots where the T's can be funneled into close range engagements, and that's where that SMG will shine. Tactical timeout used by Bestia. Interesting call given their sweet start. ODDIK went for the rifles. Cody is going to be lackluster, though. They have AKs and armor across the board. 4 smokes, a flash, and 2 Molotovs. Again, very bare bones. Basically enough for an execute and not much more.
I do. I always love, the MP9s in this and round 3s like this for me. Like, because again, if they can find, 2, maybe 3 kills, it just, that money's just going to grow so nicely. So we'll see what they do. And ODDIK now playing a little bit more of that spread out, positioning right now. Bestia taking mid very fast and aggressive, but that's again utilizing these MP9s with the M4. And it does actually go in their way. So now that they're going to be able to find that opener, something they were in drought of on Dust2, but who other than Woody? He's going to be able to find himself a little bit of a rebound. Now the T's are starting to make these connections left, right, and center all over the map. And Woody will go down, but it's not going to matter. The bomb's finally going to make its way safely a long way to A, but my God, what a way to get themselves in this kind of a position. And it's all just down to Naz by himself. And honestly, I don't even know if I'd want to go for this in this retake.
No, the 1v3 seems very difficult. He has an AK as well, which would be a nice weapon to save. It's not bomb, but it's planted for him, and that could be punished. He doesn't get the kill, though. That's the important factor. The other 2 towards long will prevent him from pushing. And Togs holding the angle does not miss that shot. Very well done from him to put ODDIK on the board. Interesting ODDIK, a little bit worrisome their overall default. They're sending some towards A/middle, some towards Cat and Snake. I'm trying to make it work, but Bestia are getting aggressive. They're using their utility well. When you only have 2 sets of players that are kind of separated, you can run out of manpower very quickly off of those early engagements. So ODDIK, tighten things up a bit, maybe be a little bit more united. Perhaps throw a nade or a Molotov on the jump up box in middle to prevent that early push. A lot of easy changes can be made. You have another tactical timeout, a second one used by Bestia again. They talk out the investment in round 4. Their money's kind of all over. They're on the verge of being able to get M4s without utility.
Oh, they're even gonna op too.
Yeah, Tomazin has some cash, so he'll drop the op. But this is a very mortal buy. Definitely could be upended if they aren't careful.
Yeah, it's a little sketchy, but I mean, it's not the worst, right? I mean, it's a good way for them to contest to keep a lead, and I have been impressed. They've, despite their, percentage of wins on this, and, historically they're not the greatest team on this for how many officials they played. I mean, they are looking a lot better for the CT sides, and everything's starting to look a little bit more efficient to some degree, but ODDIK are getting themselves a little bit more cooked up. Case Lock's now already got himself into mid. Nobody's going to be able to contest him into red, so he has an opportunity here to kind of creep through and lurk on this. He might even be able to find Tomazine, and actually it's going to go the way here for the CT side. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, and all of a sudden it's Togs by himself, the remaining player here with 1:10. No bomb control, no longer for the world, because BESTIA, despite the purchase Pineapple, they come out on top with only 1 casualty.
Very well done. Again, playing less scared, getting control. Paradoxically on the CT side instead of the T side. Really focusing on that cat, snake, caves control. It's working out very well for them. ODDIK look uncomfortable in that kind of position. Tactical timeout used, a third one used in now 5 rounds. This time is from ODDIK. What is the investment? 2 Deagles. And that's it for this T side. I'm always put off by using tactical timeouts into half buys. I'd rather see them saved for rifle rounds. But maybe they have something interesting in mind. They're going for a quick investment. 2 Tech 9s, 2 Deagles, a P250 for Mathios, make that 1 Deagle and 3 Tech 9s. That has the makings of a rush. The question is, where are they going to throw bodies at?
Yeah, I can agree with that too. I mean, there's a part of me that likes it because then it's the timeout just for this round to be quick and knowing the game plan, but also kind of getting ready for round 6 as well. But we'll see. ODDIK now, I mean, look at what they were trying to do. They're trying to do a little bit of a 3-2 split, like for that mid control and getting into cave. But Mathios and Woody have already lost more than half their HP just from the utility alone. So good placement.
Ooh.
Oh dear God, what a shot! Togs finally activating the Deagle, but now Tomazine is going to be able to sweep the floor here with triple. Okay, now these T's, the 2 players that took so much damage alone from the utility, they have so much work cut out for them. A 2-on-4, no bomb control. Oh boy, what are we going to see them find? And even Nas right now, look at the position he's in. He's going to get this information. The jig is up. It's more about hitting the shot. It's quite labored, to say the least. And now for these last 2 players, Pineapple, I don't even know what they're going to go for. They've pretty much lost the opportunity.
They've been locked out. They've been sidestepped. And a player walked right by them over towards Snake and Catwalk. They got locked out. They're now just stuck on B. Noxie's holding for Woody's press. Mathios is grouping up though, so only 1 player will fall on this crossing. Mathios one. Actually a missed shot. No goodbye. Naz, the low player close, is caught. There's some good damage done. This op is missing for Noxie, just not hitting its shots as it would hope to. And now it's getting raced down. Potentially even more damage being sustained. And that would make this a happy round, all things considered, for ODDIK. They won't get bomb plant, but if they can get 3, it would be huge. No. Noxie runs away, survives long enough. Teammates secure, kills. And BESTIA get a 4th while saving 3 rifles. But worrying signs for Noxie early on. They put a lot of stake in getting that op early, and it really hasn't done too much as of yet.
It is concerning, right? I mean, look, it is hard to be an opper. Like, obviously, you have to be really precise with it. But at the same time, like, to be missing that many shots, let's just hope that was kind of like a little bit of a one-off, but we'll see. Really nice nade actually thrown from ODDIK, and actually does land onto Tomazine very, very well. So once again, ODDIK are trying to go for this mid control. It's always a bit slow because they're getting so pushed back from the CT utility, but look at how fast BESTIA have just kind of retreated this. Back to a 3-2. Luchov actually going to push down here, waiting for the utility potentially. He's just going to swing this dry, and he's going to be able to find that fight, but does get traded. Is there another, a little bit of expectation of another player to swing? No, not at all. Damage is getting inflicted from both sides here, spamming through the walls. BESTIA now putting a heavy lean on this B side. Tomazine now getting himself into red, and CT waiting things out. ODDIK, despite this position they're in, this is a little bit more convincing than what we've seen in the previous.
It is. They actually contested for and got Snake control. They haven't gotten caves, and they're still looking rather antsy. 50 seconds left. They are very clearly red. Bestia know where they are. It's all on Togs tucked into this corner to cut off this push in middle, and they line up for him. Togs, a pair on Zak and Tomazin. Naz knows that he has to do something. And pressured in, he's caught quickly. Noxie's the last one. He has that op. Again, he's had a quiet start and another missed opportunity. Caught looking at the angle as Case-Lox takes him down. 2-4, ODDIK win that round, put their second on the board, pick up some rifles as well for their troubles, an M4A4 for Case-Lox, for example, an op for Woody as well. And the CT economy, hindered a bit by the 2 losses in the round prior, or the round before last, and of course the loss of all 5 in the round prior, are now on a save. Gives a good avenue to ODDIK to come back into this one.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we, we're talking so much about, just for, how scary the CT side really is, right? I mean, that economy is so important, and despite them being up by 2, it doesn't take much to kind of put themselves in these like half buys or little quick situations of pistols. Nice little cheeky setup that was attempted here to see if they could get the swing and the miss, maybe potentially from the off, and get that trade release. But now ODDIK are going to clean things up pretty nicely. Done and dusted round with a minute and 22 to spare. I don't know about you, Pineapple, but honestly, I was going to say, like, if we see the op getting placed back out, Noxie is going to have it back in his hands. I was thinking I wouldn't have mind if they went for the 5 rifles or maybe switch somebody up just to using the op. Because if he goes into this round missing more shots, I don't know, man. I feel like that's going to be some kryptonite, and that might backfire on these guys.
I mean, it definitely could. I think they're putting too much stake in this op. This isn't a map where the op takes over necessarily. It can have great success, but it doesn't have to. And not only using it when you're struggling, but also sacrificing all the utility definitely hurts you more than it helps you, in my opinion. Mathios starting things off right. ODDIK are getting their confidence back, pushing through middle on smoke timings, pushing up catwalk to finding one. Tomazin, though, has come to play. He had a very quiet first map. He's come out the gates swinging on the second. If I recall correctly, his first kill came in like round number 8 on Dust2. Mm-hmm. It's round number 8. He's at 10 kills. He's the top of this board. He's the reason BESTIA are currently in the lead. Noxie, no! I don't know. I'm flummoxed. There's nothing I can say about that.
That's what I mean. That's what I was talking about. Like, look, like, I'm not trying to beat on the guy, but this is the thing. Like, now look at, he's a dead man. So that investment, it doesn't mean anything. So now it's gone down the drain. And this has given ODDIK here an opportunity for the site. The smoke's going to be a little bit of a problem here for the player, Mathios. But again, tons of time to work with. That CT tries to re-aggress with his Tomazin, but he's not able to find it. He gives his backup. And now this thing is flipped on its head in favor for ODDIK in such a strong position. Now they're just going to rotate out. They know that this CT should be coming towards the B side, and it's a perfect read, and he's going to have to save. He might be able to find this op unless we see something from ODDIK that threw it away. But man, oh man, I feel like the op has to go right now for the side of BESTIA. Like, when you have a player that can't hit a shot, you got to switch it up. You can't be stubborn. You can't have that ego. You got to let it go.
It's not like he's really being punished either. It's just simple shots that are missed. They're give me shots. They're free shots. Hunt is coming. They don't want that op to be picked up. Regardless, Noxie can hit his stride at some point, theoretically. So they hunt down that player trying to find that very special weapon. ODDIK tie things up. I think they keep 3 alive as well, which is pretty good for their T-side economy, which is really beginning to blossom at this stage. And it's BESTIA's turn to save. Once more, their hefty investments don't pan out. Deagle for Tomazin is a good investment. He's been on a heater thus far in map number 2. Case-Lox rightly reading the economic situation, going for a map 10 as well.
Oh boy. Well, it's again a bit of a gamble they have to go for. Committing all players to this is good. They're not even going to rush. I like this. They're actually just going to take this nice and slow. Swing as a unit. Nobody's home. Somebody way down the line here. And this should be the obvious pick here for ODDIK to know that, okay, look, these guys are aggressing on B. They're going to stack it. And that bomb's going to have a free pathway here to the A site. Maybe Tomazin with something with his Deagle. Finds himself 1. I mean, there's 2 kills that come through from BESTIA, but it's not really mattering here. There's 10K, 12K. Like, these guys are just, they're rolling in the damn dough, man. So now they got themselves back in a lead. And this is worrying just because Bestia, if I'm not mistaken, it was like a 4-1 at one point, and now we're talking consecutive in a row.
Yeah, it's a 4-1. Now they've lost the lead. Not a good setup for them. They used their last tactical timeout very early. This is the start of round 10, and they'll have none left for regulation. I think they might get one for overtime, but I'm not certain on that statistic.
I think so. No, I think you're right.
Noxy, again, though, prioritizing this op, only a flash and body armor around it. If you can hit his shots, then it's a good investment, but right now he's not.
Yeah, no, it's making me worried. I'm not gonna lie, and it's, you know, if he is able to find a kill, 2, yeah, good investment for sure. But we'll see. I mean, it hasn't been stellar at all. Been lackluster. Now the CTs are aggressing in mid. Great Molotov placed here from the T's, just in cubby. Tomazine down to 21 HP. Dante now pushing back even more of these CTs with the utility. So that's going to be for ODDIK to have themselves control. It's not easy. It's in pretty labored fights coming back and forth from both sides here, but man, oh man, Lushov does get himself a nice kill here onto Catwalk. And once again, they find themselves that double kill opener, and that's something they needed, right? That's what's really been the turning point, I feel like, for these guys on Ancient.
I feel like BESTIA are always in a winning position when they have this Jaguar control, when they have this front caves, when they're contesting, and when they're keeping ODDIK on their toes. This round's no different, with Luchov swinging out to secure the advantage, supporting his teammates in middle. 5v3 for the defense, and ODDIK slowly making a decision. They're going to go towards B, it appears. 3 are here, including Woody on the op. They have to clear out Snake. They have to clear out Cave. They either have to do that with face checks very slowly, or they have to use utility and give away the game plan.
Oh, that's perfect. Love that. Great little bit of execution on the timing. 4-on-3 still for the CT side. Double player in this B side. A swing, and I'll tell you, he's blind. Blind as a bat, but at least his teammates got his back. And now they're getting themselves closer and closer, but it's only 13 seconds. Woody has to be able to find one of these shots here. Has to go for the swing on it, but his teammates, they're able to get something done, but this bomb, it has to get planted now. It's just time remaining on this. The op's gonna miss, but the plant comes down. It's down to the 1v1, but it's Togs, who other than him, to light things up, and they have guaranteed a 6th.
Chaotic, last second, scrappy, but it's kind of what you have to work with if you're ODDIK, especially in that situation. Respectable to come back into that one. Again, they have to play it scrappy. There's no way around it. There's no alternative when you're down by 2. You're in a 3v5. You get the spam on the first. That's a bit of a gift. And then you race in and get that last second plant in a 1v1 clutch. Huge for them. BESTIA trying to go for a half buy yet again. Their economy's been stymied. They're on MP9s and a Deagle. And aggression towards Cave. Again, the call. Nightday takes a lot of damage, but he gets the opening. Shuts down Luchov, who's been a menace in that position. Is a big one for ODDIK to find early.
And just look at how clustered they are on this too. I always hate this position too, right? I mean, when you're in the T, just because again, you have to be able to get something moving around, but BESTIA have the rotates commencing now towards this B side. Zine kind of being the one player to lurk things out. Now there's a player already made it through, and Baselots is able to get himself an easy headshot. MP9 slipped through the back lines, and now that bomb's actually going to be dropped. Still lots of time though for ODDIK to be able to find something here. They're attempting it one more time. An MP9, it's raining terror, but who other than Hogs again? He's just able to clean the damn house.
3 kills in the round, 14 thus far in the map. Togs has been a menace. He's given ODDIK a guaranteed lead going into the second half and a solid opportunity to further it. An 8-4 T-side half on Ancient would be quite the statement on this second map.
Man, it's all down to this, right? I mean, a close half, to say the least, and maybe deja vu. score lines potentially, I don't know, but this op of Noxy is important. Same for Woody. What they're able to find. Luchov actually getting very active right now. He's already sprinted his way down into Banana, pushing himself on the end of B Hall now. This is big. This is a lot of work because the more that he's gaining ground on this, the more he might be able to catch these guys off guard. Nate has a little bit of suspicion potentially. Noxy finally gets himself something started, but who other than ODDIK again to find these trades. Look at that. They lose one player, they grab two.
Both ops coming active. Noxy finding one, Woody as well. This lurk in Donut is expected, but still it's Ilmazine putting on a stellar performance. Togs, though, the double lurk is going for it all. He's going to get two towards CT. Doesn't know where the third is, but that should be caught shortly. Togs not activating just yet either. He can go for the knife, though, honestly. No, he gets the kill. 8-4 for ODDIK as we hit the halftime break.
It's a beautiful life, don't you think? It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life, don't you think? If we go down, we go down in history. If we go down, we go down in history. If we go down, if we go down, if we go down, we go down in history. If we go down, we go down in history. It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life, don't you think? It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life, don't you think? If we go down, we go down in history. If we go down, we go down in history. If we go down, if we go down, if we go down, we go down in history. If we go down, we go down in history. Beautiful life. Beautiful life, don't you think? It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life, don't you think? It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life, don't you think? It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life, don't you think? If we go down, we go down in history. If we go down, we go down in history.
Bestia showing some better form, yet still find themselves a good bit behind ODDIK. It's Pineapple Phillips and Blaz on the mic, and Bestia on the T side pistol of Ancient. They're fighting for survival in this opening best of three. They lost the first map 13-3. That was Dust2. Luchov for Bestia. Again, their best individual player. Starts things off well. Gets one. Double dually super soldiers though for KS Locks and Nite. Could be a very difficult thing to upend for Bestia.
I'm pretty sure that was even a little bit of a TK damage on the CT side here too. That was his teammate just behind him, so not great. And Mathios, he's going to be careful here. There's a T that's already made it across deep in red. And again, he might not even, he doesn't have any inkling of this at all. So timing is going to be everything right now for Luchov. If he can find this, it could be the needle in the thread right now. And he is sitting with that P250. He's got the armor. Oh, the noise keeps. Oh, no. Oh, God. I thought he was going to. I was thinking maybe he's going to miss this shot. Comes in for a little bit more, but the CTs. Oh, dear goodness. No way, Pineapple. How does this thing turn around like this? Just when things are looking so good for Bestia, it seems like the rug just gets pulled under them, and then USPs just hit every single shot afterwards.
ODDIK's individuals are on a level far exceeding that of Bestia, it appears. It's just unreal how many shots they're hitting. Again, your top individual player for ODDIK is Nightday, historically. It's historically him, 1.32 impact. He doesn't have to do anything. He's at 7 and 9. It's Case Locks, it's Mathios, it's Togs doing the lifting. Woody chimes in with the op here and there, but he's very much like Nightday, just sitting on the sidelines while this trio takes over. And that's two of the new additions as well, might I add. Case Locks and Togs coming in the last month or so, showing us their individual peaks. Mathios, a double there. Nightday running out into the chaos a little bit delayed, but only one. So there is some damage taken, but those rifles, at least one of them will be recovered. Not the second. 10-4 for ODDIK. 3 rounds, and they will have this series in a record time. They'll have a nice break with which to regain their composure and relax.
Yeah, well, exactly, too, right? I mean, Dust2 is just so convincing of a win, and now we're sitting deeper scoreline, and deeper is probably not the best way, but I mean, it is longer, technically, but ODDIK are looking really strong once again. They're back on their winning side here of the CT in this fight from K-Slots. It's finding that opening engagement in mid. And let's not forget that Bestia have put their money where the mouth is. The AKs are back on the field. This is their first gun round on the T side. The lack of the pistol round. They've been now sitting at a 1 and 3 so far in this best of 3. And Nate now able to find himself another kill. So ODDIK just putting themselves in these single fights. And finally a little bit of response and good timing from Zoc as well. I love that he waited things out. He could hear the player going for the spam. This was perfect. But now we're right back to an even Stevens of that 3 and 3 with still 1 minute and 5 remain.
3 versus 3. ODDIK gonna have to make some concessions across the map. Potential gaps for Bestia to exploit. We pointed out earlier, Laz, it was a 4-1 start. Bestia won the pistol, the second. They lost the first rifle, but they isolated it and punished the economy with 2 more wins. Beyond that, they've fallen flat. They've lost 9 in a row. Still looking to go towards B, where 2/3 of the defense remains. Through the smoke, Dog spots 1. The one ramp spamming finds nothing. And the last is towards tunnels, already heard. He's racing with the bomb to try to maybe get a plant over towards A. But as you can tell, Case Locks is already here. There's no easy route for Noxie at this point. His best chance might just be saving the rifle. He has thrown a fake, actually. He has doubled back. This does work out in that there's only 1 defender on site, but that one defender is very well entrenched and also is no slouch individually.
Yeah, and this is a good call because it was like, look, you could go for the save. And it's so unfortunate too because I couldn't remember which player that was in cave like so deep and threw the molly onto corner like that. But I mean, you could just see like they just missed the molly. Like there was a CT that was just tucked away in that left corner there. They were able to just find it. So I'm pretty sure that was Togs if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, again, just a little bit of an unfortunate play from Bestia, not able to land their utility when they wanted to flush players out. And now for round number 16, they have to put Tech 9s and, keeping Noxie here with the AK in his hand from saving from previous round. They're going to go for the 4-1 split. And I mean, this is a test for Woody now. He's going to be the sole anchor. K-Slots is kind of in donut, waiting things out. But this is a huge test, Pineapple.
A big test. Bestia at this point looking for bomb plant and rifles, hoping to scavenge that off of Woody or his teammate. But Tog supporting gets 2. They're now stuck behind a smoke and a choke point. Woody finds the 3rd in the chaos, just spamming away. Said it was a big test, and ODDIK passed with flying colors. Unbothered, comfortable. It's going to be 11 in a row off the back of this victory.
Yep, pretty much. And, you know, it's funny that we say that, you know, Woody was kind of being the player that was anchoring. And then it's Togs that just comes in and finds himself those, you know, those opening kills. So it is flying colors. Now this is going to be an easy one. Last player on the ramp. And now we're on map and series points. So all we just need for ODDIK to find is one more, and they can have themselves a pretty convincing, you know, best of 3 series with a 2-0. But BESTIA, once again, they're going to have to pull 8 rounds in a row to push overtime. And everything's on the line here. AKs with Noxy with a Mac 10. So you hate to see it. I would have liked him to honestly kind of just have that less utility with the Galil, in my opinion, but I guess he feels with his, you know, his stats of being this, you know, heavily utility favored guy, he wants to be able to find something. Omazine does get himself at least an opener against somebody like Togs, but it's quick, it's done, it's dusted, and he's already removed.
The damage. Noxy's at 18, Luchov's at 31, all from utility. Both down towards B. There's actually 3 here, and the spam is good for one from Night Days, and they go towards middle. Mathios actually getting both of those. Luchov finding Mathios at long last. But Woody and Night Day find the final pair. 13-4 on map number 2. Not quite as one-sided, but still 12 rounds in a row for ODDIK to put this second map to bed.
Yeah, honestly, it was, you know, that first half was looking really, really good for quite some time, but it just felt like ODDIK